patients that we had to deal with, and 23 of them had to be transported to the hospital, and 7 in critical condition because of the injuries.
ABC's Melissa Adon with the latest from Los Angeles.
Once the car came to a halt, bystanders dragging the driver out of the vehicle, attacking him. Police say he was also shot after he crashed into the crowd. The driver taken to the hospital and undergoing surgery. He is expected to recover. Of the 23 hospitalized victims, one of them remains in critical condition. The LAPD are still working to determine a motive. Several sources saying alcohol may have been involved.
And there's a search for whoever shot the suspected driver. The Jeffrey Epstein case, which President Trump has repeatedly said he just wants people to stop talking about, lingers on. Trump ordering Attorney General Pam Bondi to seek the release of additional material, including transcripts from a grand jury. But former Florida State Attorney for Palm Beach County Dave Arenberg says
it doesn't relate to the larger file, the names of all the Johns that perhaps young girls were trafficked to. So this is not going to satisfy anyone. This is not what the base is clamoring for. They want the Epstein files. This is just a small portion of that.
This as President Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal for defamation, filing a $10 billion lawsuit over a letter the paper says Trump allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. Severe storms and flash floods possible from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic this evening. Here's how it sounded today as the rain poured in Chevy Chase, Maryland. And the weather system is setting up for the possibility for strong storms as well as isolated tornadoes along the East Coast, Maine to New York City tomorrow. You're listening to ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Panic in Germany as fireworks go out of control. At least 19 people hurt in Dusseldorf yesterday. 4 seriously. Police say a child was among the injured. The ATF and National Sports Shooting Foundation, a trade group for the firearms industry, offering up to $10,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those who stole hundreds of firearms and gun parts from Union Pacific freight trains traveling through the Los Angeles area in early to mid-June. WNBA fans flocking to Indianapolis for tonight's All-Star game. ABC's Christian Cordero's at the game and explains a concern about fan favorite Caitlin Clark.
She's actually one of 3 All-Stars who are sidelined. This is coinciding at a really pivotal time for the league because they're actually playing the most games ever for a WNBA season. So for a lot of people who are looking at the expansion and the growth of the league, which I think by all accounts is a really good thing, there are real questions about the health of the players and how they're able to make this more sustainable.
In South Carolina, an investigation after one passenger jet clipped another on a tarmac. Breeze Airways saying the tail of an Airbus A220 hit last night by a Nippon Airways 787. Minor injuries reported to passengers on the Breeze jet. Crews also cleaned up a fuel leak from that plane. New economic data showing consumer sentiment ticking upward in July, according to the University of Michigan. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Some of our customers want a glass shower door for the look. Some want it for a better use of their space, while others need a new glass shower door just to be safe. Like a customer we had last month. Her daughter had been hounding her to turn that old bathtub of hers into a walk-in shower. She was afraid her mother might slip when there was no one around to help her. Stepping over that bathtub wall isn't exactly safe. And besides, those old bathtub floors can be kind of slippery too. Installing a new glass shower door is pretty affordable. And not only is it safer, but it also gives your bathroom a great new look. And when you stop in our showroom, you'll see just how many options we have to give you the look you want. This is Stacy Sinks with Les's Glass Service. And glass and mirrors have been our business for over 35 years. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
This is Brewers Warmup with Dominic Cotroneo. Hear lineups, manager insights, and a preview of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warmup. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Seems like a beautiful day to make it 5-0 against the LA Dodgers. Welcome into Brewers Warmup, everybody. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We are getting you ready for the On Deck Show, which comes up at the bottom of the hour. Brewers and Dodgers. Freddie Peralta will take them out for his first second-half start. He did not pitch in the All-Star game on Tuesday. He last pitched on Sunday, working into the 7th inning against the Washington Nationals in a win that day. In fact, he has won each of his last 6 starts. More on that in a moment. Furthermore, on the other side, it'll be Emmett Sheehan, a young stud who had Tommy John surgery in 2023. He's just now working his way back. He's honestly one of their best pitching prospects. He had poorly timed Tommy John surgery since they traded Ryan Pepio, and they, have had some injuries. Michael Grove hasn't been what they've wanted and that sort of thing. But they really have a lot of belief in Emmett Sheehan. He's got a very good changeup. We'll talk a little bit about the pitching matchup later on in the program. Brewers won yesterday 2-0. It was the Durbin and Priester show. Literally, just the two of them were really the main focus of the game. Of course, the bullpen was also a shining star, but that's not what the focus of the highlights are in these 3 clips we're going to play. This game was scoreless. It was 0-0. Proper pitcher's duel. Tyler Glasnow on the other side. And in fact, including up until this at-bat against Caleb Durbin in the 5th inning, right-handed hitters were 0 for 11 against Tyler Glasnow's sinker on his season. Now, granted, he missed a lot of time, so the sample size is obviously still low at 0 for 11 until Caleb Durbin.
2-0 is rocketed down the left field line. That's a fair ball and into the corner. Collins around third. He will score. Durbin chugging into second with an RBI double. The Brewers on the board. 1-0 Milwaukee here in the 5th.
That would be the only run they scored in that frame, but it all started with a leadoff walk to Isaac Collins, so another rookie getting in on the action. In the 6th inning, it's still 1-0, and the third time through the order looming against Quinn Priester, who's been dominant to this point. He allows a leadoff single to Ha-Seong Kim. That's the 8th hitter in the order. And I talked about this briefly on last night's postgame show with Jerry Augustine. Maybe in a different era, I know the pitchers don't bat anymore, batting 9th, but in a different era, 9-hitter coming up, with a man on first and the top of the order looming for the third time through, that is 100 times out of 100 going to be a bunt situation, especially with Tommy Edman, who's playing through a broken toe. I was shocked, but also not that shocked because the Dodgers simply don't bunt. That's not how they roll. That's, kind of like the correct counselification of where he hated bunting too, and that word spread, and the nerds kind of take over saying, you don't need a bunt. You don't ever want to give up an out. But, Pat Murphy kind of showed his hand earlier in that inning that he had Jared Koenig up and loosening at the start of the frame, sort of suggesting that Koenig was going to get Shohei Ohtani if there was a man in scoring position, given it was just a 1-0 game. But Edman ends up striking out, and then Ohtani, with 1 out and a man still on first, Murph let it ride, and he swings at the first pitch, gets him to ground what should have been an inning-ending 3-6-3 double play, but instead Joey Ortiz threw it wide. It didn't matter because Mookie Betts struck out next, and that was huge for Quinn Priester.
And the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Double-digit strikeouts for Quinn Priester. He's got 10, and he's thrown 6 scoreless at Dodger Stadium.
Try to time travel and go back to April after the first couple of starts for Quinn Priester and say, in the second half, Quinn Priester is going to have more double-digit strikeout games than Freddie Peralta. Think about that for a second. He's got 2. Freddie's got 0. So 10 Ks, 6 shutout frames. Also the best stat, 0 walks from Quentin Priester yesterday. So it doesn't hurt to get some insurance. How about look to the short king once again, Caleb Durbin.
3-2 pitch coming. Hit in the air to center with some carry. Back goes Pajes to the track. Pajes is at the wall. She is gone. Wow. Caleb Durbin, have yourself a night. Hit it over the center field fence, and it's Durbin 2, Dodgers nothing. How about that? A home run in Chavez Ravine for the rookie. He drilled that baby. 2-0 Brewers lead it. A 7th inning smash.
A fun one for Caleb Durbin. We got some more stats to talk about with Caleb coming up in the next segment. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get you ready for tonight's game with the starting lineup, starting with these visiting Milwaukee Brewers, who are 57-40, 2 games back of the Detroit Tigers for the best record in baseball, mind you. They've already won the season series against the Dodgers. They're still 1 game back of the Cubs, and an update on their game against the Red Sox in a moment, too. Let's give you the lineup. Bryce Terang will lead things off again with Sal Frelick on the injured list. That happened yesterday. Bryce is playing second. William Contreras batting second and also playing behind the plates, still sitting on 6 home runs this year. The 3 spot is Jackson Chourio. He continued his hitting streak yesterday. It's up to 12 games now for him. He is in right field tonight, not playing center. Christian Yelich will be the designated hitter again. He's hitting cleanup. Andrew Vaughn at first also. He's batting 5th. Isaac Collins is back in left field tonight. Collins is a switch hitter, got on base again yesterday. He's got a 365 on base, y'all. That is really, really good stuff for a rookie. Caleb Durbin, yesterday's big day. He's batting 7th and playing 3rd. And it's the first start of the year for Blake Perkins. He came off the bench yesterday, dropped down a beautiful bunt base hit. Perkins back in the lineup, back in center field. He is batting 8th for the Crew. And then finally 9th, it'll be Joey Ortiz as the shortstop for Milwaukee. Again, Terang, Contreras, Chourio, the top third. The middle has Yelich, Vaughn, and Collins. And the bottom third is Durbin, Perkins, and Ortiz. Yet another different lineup for Murph Smashers, given Perkins is now back in the fold from his fractured chin and his tight groin that he had suffered during the rehab assignment. But with Sal Frelick going on the IL, they felt ready to put Blake back on the active roster. For the Dodgers, here's their lineup. Significant change here, too. Shohei Ohtani will lead off once again, no surprise, the DH. Batting second, though, is Will Smith. This is normally the spot occupied by Mookie Betts. Mookie's getting the day off. Will Smith is behind the plate. Freddie Freeman hits third. His batting average is under 300. He's hitting third and playing first. Teoscar Hernandez is still the cleanup hitter. Teo is in right. Andy Pajes moves up to the 5th spot in the order tonight. He's in center field. Michael Conforto will play left. He's had a tough season for the Dodgers, hitting 183, an OPS south of 650. Tommy Edman, the switch hitting third baseman. He's batting 7th. Ha-Sung Kim at second base. He hits 8th. And Miguel Rojas will get the start at shortstop in the absence of Mookie, batting 9th. Again for L.A., it'll be Ohtani, Smith, Freeman, the top third. Hernandez, Pajes, Conforto, the middle third. Edman, Kim, Rojas, the bottom. And again, the pitching matchup, Freddie Peralta for the Brewers, 11-4, a 2.66 ERA. He has the most wins in Major League Baseball. Emmett Sheehan on the other side, he's 1-0, a 2.03 ERA as he continues to work back from Tommy John surgery. This will only be his 4th appearance since returning to the active roster. Let's talk a little bit more about the trade deadline and Caleb Durbin coming up on the other side of this break here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Now, more of Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We're going to the bottom of the hour here on Brewers Warm-Up. Getting you ready for Dodgers and Brewers. Brewers have already won the season series with yesterday's victory. So even if they lose these next two games, in the event these two teams are tied at the end of the regular season, let's say they're both division winners, and let's say they are the second and third division winners, let's say the East somehow gets hot and is the team that has the best record in the National League. In the event these two teams were tied as division winners, the Brewers would get the higher seed and get to be the 2 seed. So keep that in mind as the season moves along. And just a quick peek over at the Cubs. They are playing well once again against the Boston Red Sox at Wrigley. They're headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 3-0 Cubs. They started the game with back-to-back homers from Michael Busch and Kyle Tucker. You know, the Cubs keep on winning. They have not relinquished first place since they came back home stateside, given how things worked out with the Japan series against these Dodgers when they went 0-2 in Japan. But they've been one of the best teams in baseball since the rest of the regular season began. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that game for the post-game show. But just a quick peek at the standings here in the National League. A reminder, the Cubs are now the best record in the NL at 58-39, percentage points better than these 58-40 LA Dodgers. But if the Brewers win today, let's say the Cubs win today since they're already out to a lead, that would mean the top two teams in the National League play in the NL Central, which means continuing to place pressure on each other makes the trade deadline all the more stressful for both of these teams because they have a very similar need, maybe, at third base. Let me explain. You know, we talked about it on yesterday's postgame show about putting some respect on Caleb Durbin's name and how well he has been performing for the last 2 months, for the last month. And as I'm saying this, let's also put this with a grain of salt for a second, because Eugenio Suarez just hit his second homer of the game for the Diamondbacks. He is a top 5 hitter in baseball over the last month and a half, 2 months or so, okay? Everybody wants that guy. But so does the Diamondbacks, because the Diamondbacks are in a stretch right now where they're beating up on a bad Cardinals team, which somebody told you the Cardinals were going to regress. That's this guy with the glasses here. But then furthermore, you've got Houston coming in after that, and they don't have Jeremy Pena or Yordan Alvarez right now. They might be vulnerable. Then they get Pittsburgh, and we all know what to think about Pittsburgh. And the Diamondbacks are not quite ready to pull the plug, given the rest of the wild card standings in the National League is starting to get really cramped. Arizona's 5.5 back of a playoff spot right now, which is also in their purview, given it's San Diego ahead of them. Both San Diego and San Francisco are ahead of them. Right now, if the playoffs started tomorrow, the 1 seed would be the Cubs, the 2 seed would be the Dodgers, and the 3 seed in that wild card series would be the Phillies, and they would be facing the last team into the playoffs. It would be a 2022 NLCS rematch against the San Diego Padres. So that's the 3 versus 6 matchup, Philly versus San Diego. And then Milwaukee would be hosting the Mets again. Yikes. But the point being, the Cubs and the Brewers both have a need at third base. But Durbin has been continually showing why they don't actually have a need at third base. They just have a need of offense. We think of third base as a position of power, a position that you're got a 500 slugging, and Durbin is not that guy. Granted, he had his 5th homer of the year yesterday, had 2 extra base hits. I should be commending that, which I am. I think what I've been saying all along is right-handed power is what this team needs. And that's what we saw from Andrew Vaughn in his first week as a Brewer, especially stepping in with Rhys Hoskins' absence. And let's also be honest about Rhys. He was ice cold for the last month before he had got hurt. So it really felt more exacerbated that you're not getting any right-handed pop from anybody that isn't named Jackson Chourio. That's why the Brewers seem to be such a great fit for Eugenio Suarez. That being said, the Cubs have an even more dire situation at third base. They have been cycling through third baseman. They had Rule 5 pick Gage Workman. He's bounced around since then from the Tigers. They've had Vidal Brujan. They've had utility players. Now they've got Matt Shaw back up, who's one of their top prospects. He hasn't been hitting like they had hoped. So they've got a lot to figure out there at third base, and that also seems like a good fit. And why Gino is so desirable to so many teams, the Yankees would certainly give a call on this too. He's a rental. He's a free agent to be. Everybody wants to get a free agent to be because that means they're not as expensive. You only got to pay for 2 months unless you're, Brody Van Wagenen and you're able to get 2 months of Javi Baez for Pete Crow Armstrong, which nobody wants to repeat. But when you look at it, the Brewers have to be smart with what they do. And, I think they're understanding that they have a lot of chips to deal from, but it doesn't mean they're going to sacrifice a stack to get somebody for 2 months. Would it be nice to have Caleb Durbin and Eugenio Suarez in a lineup? Unquestionably. But how are you going to make that work? Oh, well, just move Bryce Turang to short. They tried that in spring training. His arm's not ready to handle that. And also, Pat Murphy has said all season long, they did not ideally want to switch them back and forth when they started auditioning Turang and Ortiz based on spring training. But then when Turang's shoulder started barking, they were like, all right, we got to shut this down. Keep Turang at second. And the Brewers ask a lot of their second baseman. So take that thought out of your mind because, quite frankly, if the Brewers thought Bryce Turang could play shortstop and they felt his arm was healthy enough, probably would have already happened. So then, okay, we'll move Caleb Durbin to short. He hasn't played shortstop as a professional for 3 years, like 6 games or something like that. It's not a lot. Yes, he was a shortstop in D3. And I love a D3 grinder like the rest of us. D3 shortstop is not the same as Major League Baseball shortstop. So Suarez can't DH because then that requires Christian Yelich to play left field, which requires Jackson Chourio to be somewhere different, and then you take Blake Perkins out of it. So then I had this thought, and this is a total shot in the dark, pulling it out of thin air. What about Luis Robert? And I know we're celebrating Blake Perkins being back today. And you may be thinking, Dom, Luis Robert's hitting like $1.90, another White Sox trade? You're right. It doesn't look like a great slash line. A 196 batting average coming into the day, a 284 on base, a 341 slug. This is not the guy that, White Sox fans thought they were getting when they signed with that multi-year deal. But, change of scenery. This dude was electric 2021 through 2023. When he was on the field, he was one of the best players in baseball. For that 3-year stretch, while the White Sox were relevant, while they were playing very good, and remember, they made the playoffs 20, 21, 22. Robert, over that 3-year stretch, was an 11-win player. I mean, that's averaging 4 a year. That's really darn good, almost 4 a year. 63 homers over those 3 seasons, and that's in only 311 games. He only played 1 full season in that stretch with an 842 OPS. That's not that far removed. And he technically would also be a rental. He's got a $20 million team option next year. There's no chance anybody's going to pick that up. It's a $2 million buyout. And again, when you get a rental, it doesn't cost as much in prospect capital. I wonder, somebody is going to pull the trigger on Luis Robert because there's no way the White Sox are going to pick up that team option next year for $20 million. They know they need to trade him. So the leverage then goes to the team that wants to acquire him because you're telling me Jerry Reinsdorf is going to spend $20 million on a guy that's hitting 196 right now on a team that's not going to be good again next year? I wonder if the Brewers are seriously considering that. I think that would be a dark horse candidate. That's my crystal ball, can you believe it type prediction. All right, let's talk a little bit about the pitching matchup today. Freddie Peralta, Emmett Sheehan. Freddie's got a chance to do something that no Brewer has done for over 30 years. We'll explain that next here on 620 WTMJ.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. When Tri-City National Bank decided to optimize their print output strategy, they needed a resource with the expertise to recommend a solution. CIO Robert Prang.
And James helped us with that analysis of what our print consumption was and what we were doing.
The outcome of the James Imaging Systems Managed Print Services recommendation?
We ended up reducing down to about 97 total printers and copiers from 197.
The impact on your print output?
We eliminated over 500,000 pages a month of output that we figured out we really didn't need.
Month after month, that adds up to savings and value.
Oh, tons of value. Those numbers add up even when it's only a penny or so per page.
Managed Print Services from James Imaging Systems. AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation. To learn more, visit jamesimaging.com.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just one day. The Ovation technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Back to Brewers Warmup on WTMJ.
All right, last few minutes of the program here. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers, Dodgers getting ready to go 8:10 tonight. Oh, great. They gave us an extra hour for late night baseball, but I'll be with you after the game today as well for Brewers Extra Innings. It'll be myself and Jerry Augustine breaking it all down here on WTMJ. And if you don't want to stay up late, don't worry. It's always available in podcast feed. Brewers All Access, wherever you get your podcasts. It's right there as soon as the show ends, and you're able to listen to it at your leisure tomorrow. So keep that in mind for your late night games this week, because the Brewers also then go to Seattle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A couple more late nights there. Now, I won't be hosting those two shows. I got to take a couple nights off. Those are 8:40 first pitches on both Monday and Tuesday, and then no show on Wednesday, given it is a day game. Brewers getting ready with Freddie Peralta on the mound today. Let me tell you about something about Freddie. He has a chance to win his 7th consecutive start, meaning he would join Cal Eldred back in 1992, the last Brewer to win at least 7 straight starts. He set the team record, winning 10 in a row back on those 92 Brewers. Furthermore, another win tonight for Freddie Peralta would be his 12th of the season, matching his career high from back in 2023, and would further his Major League Baseball lead in wins to 12. In case you're wondering, we saw a 20-game winner just a couple seasons ago. It was Spencer Strider, who won 20 games in 2023. In 2022, it was his teammate Kyle Wright with the Braves. 2021, it was Julio Urias with these Dodgers. And, man, what could have been for Julio Urias' career? He made some very poor decisions along the way. But then, pre-2020, you look at the last 5 guys to do it, some pretty good names here. Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Corey Kluber, Blake Snell, J.A. Happ in 2016. It doesn't happen often. And again, the last 20-game winner in a Brewer uniform, 1986, Teddy Higuera. He went 20-11, throwing 248 innings. He had 207 strikeouts for the Mexican Teddy Higuera. And tonight, I bring up Teddy because it is Fernando Valenzuela night. We lost him right before the World Series started last year in Los Angeles. Fernando Mania. For the kids who don't know, you got to go find it on YouTube. There's a couple of great documentaries done, both by the Dodgers and by MLB Network. And the iconic Vin Scully call of the no-hitter. If you have it on sombrero, throw it to the sky. And tonight they're giving away a Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead. And the reason why this means to me, for those who don't know, I'm half Mexican. My grandfather immigrated to this country from Sonora, Mexico. And Fernando meant a lot to Mexican Americans, to say the least. And to play for the Dodgers and to, be, one of them, a Mexican American playing Major League Baseball. Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, the last to do it in 1981, 20 years young, 8 complete game shutouts, 11 total complete games. He came on and lit the world on fire in 1981. What an incredible story. We lost him last year right before the World Series, and they're giving away a bobblehead tonight. And, of course, Fernando, just somebody that exuded kindness, El Toro, of course, a brilliant star in the beginning of his career, and then injuries plagued him for the rest of his career. But, man, 6 straight All-Star seasons from 1981 to 1986. Over that time, 27 wins above replacement in a 6-year stretch. Simply marvelous. 97 wins. He threw 1,500 innings in those 6 seasons. Age 20 to 25. Cy Young Award winner in 1981. 3rd in 1982. And then 5th in 85 and 2nd in 86. Fernando Mania, it was special. So it's a fun day to be a Dodger fan to go pick up those bobbleheads tonight. Brewers, Dodgers, Game 2 of this series, Game 5 of the season series. It all concludes tomorrow head-to-head with that game starting at 3:10. But I'll be with you after today's game to break it all down. One last check at the out-of-town scoreboard here, just keeping an eye on those Cubs, seeing what the score is here. It is still 3-0. They're in the 5th inning, Cubs leading the Red Sox at Wrigley. That is going to do it for Brewers Warm-Up. On the other side of this break, it'll be time for the On Deck Show built by Menards, Lane Grindle, and Josh Maurer on the call from L.A. Our producer has been Matt Yazel. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Talk to you after the game, and until then, keep on swinging.
A well-placed mirror can be a decorator's best friend. And what I like best about adding a decorative mirror to a room is its ability to give it a bright, open feeling. It makes the most of a room's natural light, and that can give a real